Hello, this is Gerald van Was. I promised actually easy examples that are visually attractive, in which you can associate the letters, how letters are building up, and make up a puzzle which is not just combining positions in a space and time context, but these positions, they have a meaning, and they have a meaning how they combine. They attract our attention, expose our attention, actually trigger our attention so that we behave towards it in a way that it is expected. And I think it's always interesting to have a word which has different meanings and which seems to be completely different things as well. And I have here such a word, and I explain it according to my theory, what the positions are and what the positions mean. And then of course, according to how we can combine them, they will reveal itself what kind of attention we will give to it, and what kind of form also we will get out of it. It's a bit strange then, maybe, that the word WURST, like in German, or WURST, like in Dutch, which means sausage, are something completely different than the English word, which is the same way how it has been written as the Dutch word worst, which is sausage, but it's pronounced differently as worst. So the worst thing. So of course the sausage is not the worst thing that you can have at the same time, so it means something completely different. Still, the combination of letters has the same puzzle for both words. How is that possible? I explain it in this video. But I build it up, of course, from letter to letter so that you understand what it means from the positions and from the meaningfulness of these positions. I'm not going to completely explain from why do we have this meaningfulness, but you have here the W. The W is about movements and timings, so that you give things a certain time and you follow the directions. The direction at the point of W are related with how much the material is adapting itself to them according to what you see in the situation, and it gradually adapts. And it adapts like this form. You can almost hear it when it does. It gradually adapts, and it adapts to the lower energies, the slower energies, the appliant energies in that way. So often that you cannot help it than to adapt to what actually is necessary without increasing the energy. Just go with the flow, as the word also says. The O then as the next letter, because I will start from the Dutch word, because that's the word which has the same writing as the English word. So I start from the W, go to the O. Of course, I will not start at the beginning. I push the O towards the point where the W is most visible, most apparent, most developing, most physical, let's say. So I go to that point where I see, okay, here I have an adaptation. O is about the focus of movements, of where material could go to, or where it will adapt at a certain point. So I will go to that focus. The R to it says in that particular moment and placement, especially moment, then I see that this is a good condition where I will connect to. So I will connect to it so that I can do something with it. I connect to it so that I can perform something there, because the last letters are about performances. I have a certain definition. I can apply it there. There I can perform also a certain continuation, so that I can also perform something and can continue to do that, or repeat it at random, where I say, okay, here I can start it, here I can end it. So here I will start this connection point with R, and this will go into the letter S, and the letter S is the last letter. Usually it's about the outer layer of influences that has an influence towards you. The outer layer doesn't have to be necessary very wide away or big away. It's just the outer layer, you would say, the influence that you have. So you should give it an influence from outside towards the inside via the diagonals as well. And you continue this movement or continuation, so that you create the outer layer form. There you have it already. There you have the sausage already. That you also perform at a certain point. If you go to a place where they make the sausages, you can almost see the whole process. How you have this. Go towards the place where you can indeed fill it in and have that continuation of movement, and fill in the sausage. The S is just not only that outside effect, it's also produced by that feedback that you give it, that movement, or that correct definition that you give it. So sausage is very clear. And the T will even give it an extra emphasis on function or a certain quality, a placement. It's from the first category. It's always focusing upon space and upon a really steady place. Okay, here I have it. Here I have something that I can use. It's very clear, and that's the kind of placement where that letter is used. It's very clear. I use also the vertical to say, okay, there it is. There I have my cross point where I see a functional thing, which is the sausage. Now, we see the combination of these things. So we can also make that puzzle with the qualities that we recognize from these positions, but I will not do that, but I will go to the other variation. So how can a slightly different focus be so different in meaning? I will explain in this slide. The WURST in English is still using the O, or the focus, where I'm focusing upon, but like WURST, where it really has that full space also that I'm going to focus upon, where I have that transaction, where I will gradually have that movement in it. Here the or WURST is with a very long minimalize that focus actually towards that process. First of all, the W was already a decrease, a reducing of energy, using the lowest, actually most appliant energy to adapt. The even more adapts to that appliant tendency, and it rules in it almost like, and it then of course also will adapt to it and will produce actually nothing but an adaptation. And that's the quality in a negative sense then that makes up the WURST, simply because it applies so much so that you have no influence in it whatsoever. The WURST in the German word do not have that O focus, or like where will I perform it, how will I perform it. Now it's more about what's filled in. It's a filled in thing, because U is about something that gradually forms itself. In this way, in this context, it's gradually developed as well, or gradually filled in of material. That's what it is. It's something that is filled in, and filled in actually somewhere that outer shell. And that's the slightly different focus towards the Dutch word then, and of course much very different from the English word. But as you can see, the slightly different pronunciation can already somewhat move your attention towards other things which are also there in the letters and letter combinations. And I hope this was clear enough that this could be shown as well to you. Thanks again for watching. Bye.